The rain had been falling for days, turning the dirt roads of the village into rivers of mud. From the doorway of a tiny, crooked house at the foot of the hill, Adam watched the grey sky and felt a familiar knot in his chest. Life had never been kind to him. His wife had died young, money was always short, and every month seemed to bring a new problem. Sometimes he wondered in the silence of the night if God had simply forgotten his name. Still, every morning he got up, whispered a quiet thank you for another day, and went out to work with his son Daniel and their old horse, Max. Max wasn't just an animal. He was strength when Adam's back hurt, company when the evenings were too quiet, and the last reminder of better days. Daniel dreamed of one day leaving that village and building something bigger. But for now, their tiny world revolved around that small piece of land and that faithful horse. They plowed, carried firewood, and transported sacks for neighbors. It wasn't much, yet Adam always said the same thing at dinner. "We don't have much, my son, but what we have is ours, and we have each other. That's enough for now." One morning, a shiny black car appeared on the muddy road like something out of another world. A wealthy businessman stepped out, elegant clothes spotless, eyes sharp. He had heard about Max, the strong, obedient horse capable of working from sunrise to sunset without complaint. After watching the animal for a few minutes, he made an offer so high that Daniel's eyes widened. With that money, they could fix the house, buy better tools, and finally breathe. The neighbors gathered, curious, listening from afar. Adam stared at Max, then at Daniel, and finally at the businessman. His hands trembled slightly. The logical choice was obvious. But something inside him resisted, a feeling he couldn't explain. After a long silence, he shook his head. "I'm grateful for your offer, sir, truly. But Max is part of our family. Some things money cannot replace." The businessman shrugged, got back in his car and left, leaving behind a cloud of dust and disbelief. The criticism didn't take long. "You're a fool, Adam," shouted one neighbor. "Poor and proud, what good is that?" another added. Daniel stayed quiet, but inside, frustration burned. That night he couldn't hold back. "Father, we could have changed our lives today. Why did you say no? Why is life always harder for us?" Adam looked at his son's hurt eyes, feeling a sting in his own heart. "I don't know the full answer, Daniel. But I've learned one thing. We can't judge a page while the book is still being written. Time always has something else to show." 2 days later, when dawn broke, Max was gone. The rope was loose, the gate half open, footprints lost in the mud. Desperation hit like a punch in the chest. They searched all day, calling his name, asking travelers, checking every trail. Nothing. By nightfall, the neighbors were already there with their poisoned sympathy. "See? This is what you get for refusing the money. Life is punishing you. First you're poor, now you're poor without a horse." Daniel clenched his fists in anger. "Now you'll still say this is good somehow?" he asked, voice shaking. Adam felt the pain, but refused to let bitterness take root. He took a deep breath and put a hand on his son's shoulder. "I don't know why this happened, my son. It hurts. But I still believe this. In everything, there is a seed of good, even when we only see darkness. Let's give time a chance to explain what we can't understand today." Daniel turned away, tears in his eyes. Patience was a luxury he felt he no longer had. A week passed, then another. Just when hope was about to die, a neigh echoed from the hills at sunrise. Daniel ran outside and froze. Max was there, and behind him 5 wild horses, nervous and strong, following him as if he were their leader. They managed with difficulty and help to close the animals in a makeshift corral. That afternoon, the same neighbors who had mocked them were now full of admiration. "What luck! You lost 1 horse and gained 5. You're blessed, Adam. You see, life finally smiled at you." Daniel couldn't deny the excitement. With those horses, they could work more, rent their services to other villages, maybe even save enough to change everything. That night, while they were eating, he finally smiled again. "You were right, Father. Losing Max brought us something better. This is the best thing that has ever happened to us." Adam, however, wasn't celebrating as loudly as everyone else. He smiled gently, but said calmly, "It looks good, yes. But remember, my son, not everything that seems good is entirely good, just like not everything that seems bad is entirely bad. We still don't see the whole story." In the days that followed, Daniel began training the wild horses. He was young, strong, and fearless. Maybe a little too fearless. One afternoon, while trying to show a friend how well he controlled one of the animals, the horse got scared, jumped, and Daniel was thrown violently to the ground. A crack echoed in the air. The leg was broken. The doctor said he wouldn't walk for months without pain. The neighbors returned, as predictable as the rain. Such a tragedy. See, your luck turned to misfortune. Those horses brought bad luck. For the first time, Daniel's faith truly faltered. Lying in bed, unable to move, feeling useless, he asked in a low voice, "Why, Father? Why does life play with us like this? First it takes, then it gives, then it takes again. I'm tired. It's unfair." Adam sat beside him and stayed silent for a while, listening to his son's breathing, the wind whistling through the window, the village noises in the background. Finally, he said, "Life is not a straight line, Daniel. It's a road full of curves that we don't see from where we are. What seems like cruelty today may be protection tomorrow. What seems like blessing today may come with a hidden price. We can't judge the journey standing in the middle of it." A few weeks later, the sound of drums and shouting echoed from the main square. Soldiers had arrived, a war had broken out in distant lands, and every young man in the village was summoned to fight. Mothers cried, fathers tried to look strong, and boys tried to hide their fear behind forced smiles. The commander passed house by house, writing down names. When he reached Adam's home, he saw Daniel lying in bed, legs still in bandages, face pale. "This one can't walk, he's useless for battle," the man muttered, and moved on. One by one, Daniel's friends were taken. Promises of quick victory were shouted in the streets, but the silence that followed their departure was heavy. Months passed with no news, until finally letters arrived, too few saying too little. Many boys never came back. Some returned changed, with distant eyes and souls older than their faces. The village was never the same again. One evening, as the sun set behind the hill, painting the sky with orange and gold, Daniel watched from the doorway on his crutches. The pain in his leg was slowly fading. Inside him, another pain was being replaced by a quiet understanding. "If I hadn't fallen, I would have gone to war," he whispered. Adam nodded, his gaze lost on the horizon. "Yes, my son. The fall that you called injustice became the reason you are still alive today. The horse you lost brought others. The gift that seemed a blessing broke your leg. The broken leg that seemed a curse saved your life. Tell me, how can we call life unfair when we don't see the whole picture?" Daniel swallowed hard, eyes filling with tears, not of anger this time, but of gratitude. For the first time, he understood what his father had been trying to say all along. Life wasn't a judge punishing or rewarding at random. It was a teacher, sometimes strict, sometimes gentle, but always working with a wisdom that went beyond what the moment revealed. From that day on, whenever something went wrong, Daniel still felt fear, still felt pain. He was human. But instead of despair, he learned to say to himself, "I don't understand now, but time will show me why." And when something went incredibly right, instead of becoming arrogant or careless, he remembered, "This is good, but I still don't see the whole story. I'll stay humble, I'll stay awake." Years later, when people came to his house complaining that life was unfair, that everything was going wrong, Daniel would listen carefully and then share a simple truth that had once saved his own heart. What looks like the end is often just a confusing chapter in the middle. Don't curse the page while the book is still being written. Give time a chance. Today's storm may be the very thing that keeps you safe tomorrow. When life feels unfair, remember this: time has a way of turning pain into purpose if you don't give up before it does.